Hey everyone, I am Anthony Scott of ToyHypeUSA.com. Today we're reviewing the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 6-inch figures from Playmates Toys for 2021. These figures are in their classic colored, as seen in the classic comic books. And as you can see, they are packaged on comic book inspired artwork there with images of the turtles as well as the classic black and white panel there. Very nicely done. Each figure is in a window box as well. And here's a look at both sides of the packaging. Each side is different, featuring the black and white comic book art. And here's a look at the back of the packaging. You get a single panel with the retro classic colored turtles. That's very nicely done. So what I'm going to do now is open these up and let's take a closer look. Here is your in-hand look at these classic comic colored figures from Playmates Toys. So back in 2012, Playmates kicked off a new line of 6-inch Turtles figures, which I'm sure you all remember. This included their classic Turtles from the animated series. They started off with all 4 of the Turtles, and then we got Rocksteady and Bebop. Shredder and Krang were shown at ToyFair one year, but ultimately those were never released, unfortunately. I've asked Playmates Toys about those figures a number of times, but could never get a straight answer whether or not those will eventually see release. They also did the 1990 movie Turtles. First they offered a straight set, and then they ended up offering those again with 4 interchangeable heads. It was more of like a deluxe size packaging, which was pretty cool. They did 2 waves of Turtles WWE co-brand figures, along with Ghostbusters Ninja Turtles co-brand figures, which were the final offerings in the 6-inch line. So we did get a lot of Turtles figures from them, but ultimately I want to see more. We're seeing a lot of 6-inch, 7-inch scale figures from NECA Toys and Super 7 right now. NECA Toys is doing the classic cartoon, while Super 7 is working on giving us modern updates to the classic action figures that Playmates Toys offered back in the day. So Playmates Toys 6-inch scale Ninja Turtles figures are a bit more stylized. You don't see the detail in the sculpts that you get from Super 7 or NECA. And I did ask them about this one year. They said that they focus more on the price point of the figure. So that's why their sculpts are a bit more, a little bit more simplistic to them. You know what I mean. They're not as, you don't see the great amount of detail and everything that's offered from the other 2 companies. And as I'm talking, I'm just giving you a look at Raphael here to what I'm talking about. And in addition to that, the sculpts that they've been using have been primarily reissued from each other. The 1990 movie Turtles figures and the classic animated series have been ultimately the same sculpt with some modifications. These figures here are no exception to that. These are just reissued from the old 2012 figures. However, there's some retooling going on. The head sculpts are the same. The body is primarily the same. The belt buckles have been retooled as to give you guys the new belt buckle there, while the classic cartoon Turtles had the letter of their name on the belt as seen from the animated series. And from the comic to the animated series, that was changed so kids could easily tell which turtle is which, as well as the color of their bandana. So in the comic book, the bandanas were all red. So when the animated series came along, they made some modifications. They changed the colors to the bandana and padding to each turtle, as well as the belt buckle with the letter of their name on there. Again, the comic didn't have those features. They were all looking like this. And ultimately, I think these are great figures. Besides the belt buckle, some more modifications have been changed to the figures. They don't have a holster or anywhere else to hold their accessories. The 2012 release of Leonardo had a place to put his swords on his back there, and a sheath, and ultimately that was removed from these figures here to make them a bit more accurate to the classic comic. So as I'm talking, I'm turning these around, giving you guys a look at the back of the shells to what I'm talking about. Let's turn Raphael around. And now it's comparison time to what has previously been offered. So when I say that the new figure uses a lot of the share parts, this is the figure that I'm referring him to. As you can see, the strap has been removed around his torso there, as well as the belt buckle, all new there. The legs, the head, the torso, the arms is all reused from previously offered Leonardo figure, as well as the sword base that he can stand on. The swords are the same, just that the handles haven't been painted this time around, and they're also painted in a darker gray. So let's turn them around. So you see the difference there as well. His sheath for his katanas have been removed. There's nowhere for him to store the accessories, which I kind of wish that they did offer on this release. I kind of like it, but that wasn't, I don't think that was in the classic comic. But you definitely see all the similarities between the two figures. Completely new deco, as you can see here. All the deco has been changed, from the padding to the skin tone, the chest, the shell, everything. Here's your comparison for Raphael. I put the size in their holster there in front of the belt, which the new comic colored version does not have, unfortunately. But all the other changes have been there. You see the belt buckle is brand new. The skin tone, everything else, different color, even the size. But the back of the shell, they did keep that strap around there, which you see there. And also the sword base has been repainted. Donatello, you also see these changes applied. Same bow staff, just repainted, same sculpt, new belt buckle there, and the strap along the torso has been removed. The sculpt, every other aspect about the sculpt, including the head, is the same. And there's a look at the back of the shell. And of course, here's your look at Michelangelo. The sculpt is the same, with the exception of the belt buckle, which the one with the letter has been removed to the one that's more accurate for the classic comic book color, as you've seen with the rest of this new wave from Playmates Toys. Everything else has been repainted, including the handles to the nunchucks, which are also on chain links, just like the old version. These holsters for the nunchucks have been removed on the new turtle figure, and that was to make it more accurate to the comic. And here's a comparison of Leonardo with the two different offerings of the 1990 movie Turtles figures. As you can see here, there's a lot of differences between the two figures here. Some changes in the torso. The movie Turtles have a different torso. The belt buckle doesn't exist on the 1990 movie Turtles. And the shell on the back is also brand new. with more of that sculpted detail. And here's your comparison with the two Raphael figures in the 1990 movie line, as well as this new release of Raphael. You're going to be able to tell right there all the difference between the sculpt, the similarities, everything. The knee pads and elbow pads on the new turtle figure are also smaller than what you see for the 1990 release of Raphael here. There's a look at the back of the shell. And here's your comparison of both releases from the 1990 movie Donatello figure here, along with the new one. That's inspired from the comic book. And of course, here's a look at Michelangelo with both movie versions as well as the new release here. I also want to add, upon a closer look, the sculpts are completely new. There's nothing reused between the 1990 movie figures as well as these new versions that Playmates Toys just released. While the parts look similar, or the same I should say, I compared them closer and they are not. Going back to Leonardo, here is a comparison with his Turtles WWE co-brand figures. This includes Leonardo as John Cena, as well as Finn Balor, which you see there. And I really like this crossover idea. I think it really works nicely with Turtles. Sorry to say they didn't do a third wave. I hope to see this line continue, as I did give them some ideas that they really liked at Toy Fair, so hopefully they'll do a third wave at some point. But there's your comparison of Leonardo. Here's a comparison of Raphael as Sting as well as The Rock in the co-brand line. And of course, the new release from Playmates Toys. And here we have a comparison of Donatello as the Ultimate Warrior as well as the Undertaker in the WWE co-brand series, along with this new release. So turning it around, giving you guys a look. And here's a comparison of Michelangelo as the Macho Man Randy Savage, as well as Rowdy Roddy Piper, which you see there. And there's a comparison from the back. And as far as those Ghostbusters co-brand figures, those were not easily accessible in time for this review, so I apologize for that. Overall, I think these are phenomenally done figures. Very happy to have 6-inch Turtles figures return to the line. Getting figures like this is long overdue for Playmates Toys, and I hope to see them continue the 6-inch line in some way with more co-brands. I know the vintage line had Turtles Star Trek crossover figures. Things like that I think will work very nicely into the 6-inch line. Hopefully we'll get another wave of WWE co-brand figures, maybe some more Ghostbusters themes. Really, the sky's the limit. Ideally, I would like to see Masters of the Universe, Turtles co-brand figures. They could do whatever they want as long as they get the license. So hopefully that we'll see more of this return someday. These figures here, very nicely done. Great additions to the line. Happy to have them. I am Anthony Scott of ToyHypeUSA.com. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and share this video, as it tells YouTube to share it with more people. We would appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more coverage.